Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading. We are going to do a past, present, future reading, and this is going to be a theme-based reading. So your theme is going to be protection. And I think you are protected at this time is kind of what I'm getting off of that card. I also think that there is kind of like, it's like what I see for you is like an egg. It's like, I feel like there's something trying to hatch into your life. And I feel like it's like a protected idea. We'll look into it. You have this dream catcher card. It says, pay attention to the signs, messages, and guidance that come to you at night. You have this delicate rose. It says, be willing to honestly say what you feel, no matter how terrifying it may seem. Now, this first row here is going to be your past position. So I feel that, again, it's like something has been trying to hatch in your life, like an egg. And this is something that you probably have been protecting just in general. Like maybe you've been keeping your ideas to yourself or something like that. And, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, here, Virgo. I think that, not sharing your ideas is sometimes a good idea. And so, again, I don't really see that as much of a problem in general. You have the Magician, the Three of Wands, and the Six of Pentacles. The Magician is about manifestation, of course. The Magician is pointing to the Wheel of Fortune. And so the Magician wants you to change your fortunes. And the Magician is coming up in the past. So what we have been talking to you about, Virgo, for a very long time is that you are kind of like changing your identity. And I don't mean that you are like becoming a fake person or something like that. But you can't make this up. I always talk about this with you, that it's like you are reinventing yourself in some way. And the Magician, he has this snake wrapped around his waist. And that snake is the Ouroboros, and the snake represents reinvention, or the Ouroboros represents reinvention. And so it's like there are certain things that I think you are working on about yourself, like certain belief systems, like what you want to talk about, who you want to be, how you want to appear, and like all that other stuff. And I feel that this is like a big theme for you that you've been working on for a long time. The good news is that it's coming up in the past position. So I kind of feel you're finally like finishing this transformation. And I think that this transformation is something that you've been working on for a very long period of time. You have the Three of Wands. I feel like you are definitely like one of those signs that is meant to take up more space. I think that the weirdness we are feeling in the world is empty space. I think the world is full of terrible ideas. And if you believe in the two worlds or the two earth theory that we've entered into the new earth and all this other stuff, I think that what we are feeling is empty space that we need to fill with our good ideas, right? And so the Three of Wands, even though it's showing up in your past position, I kind of feel it's saying like you have the dreams with that dream catcher card. The delicate rose card says, be willing to honestly say what you feel. It's like you need to take up space by sharing your ideas now, even though you've been protecting them, which is fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Like now I feel it's time to start kind of doing the things that put your ideas out into the world, meaning that you could be creating something new. You could be, creating something that you put into the world. You could be recreating yourself. And obviously you are in the world. So you exist in the world. And that could be the thing that is taking up more space. But it's almost like there is space for you to grow. And I feel that's what the Three of Wands is encouraging you to do. You have the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, it's just time to get started. Six of Pentacles is about planting seeds in a direction or starting to work towards something. And I feel a lot of you could be working towards like bigger and better projects, bigger ideas, bigger plans, goals, wishes, dreams. Like everything is popping up in my head. Like I feel like you're going to be doing a lot over the next few months, Virgo, in your life. And you're probably going to be busier than you ever have been in your life. And it feels really good because like I said, I feel progress here. I feel success coming in for you based off the cards that we have coming up in the future. So, like I said, looks pretty good. Let's see what is going on. With the Magician, you have the Hangman. Your ideas have changed. It's almost impossible to avoid this, by the way, because we had Neptune and Pisces, your opposite sign. Neptune and Pisces is a direct challenge to traditional belief, things that we have always believed. So everyone is changing their mind right now. It just is what it is, Neptune will be retrograding into Pisces soon enough, but And so we're kind of, clearing some of those ideas up. Any ideas of like what you want to change or any beliefs that you want to change in your life, he is hanging upside down from the tree of knowledge and wisdom. So he is looking at things from a different perspective. And you've probably gained a billion new perspectives over the past 14 years of Neptune and Pisces. And it's like now now is where you are bringing those things into the 3D. It's like you are starting to solidify who you want to be with the Magician. Pretty powerful stuff going on here. With the Three of Wands, you have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, there are things you have to let go of. There are things that need to die in your life. And, again, that's the word I want to use, is that there are certain things that have to undergo like that death transformation or that full release, right? Because you are trying to be a specific type of person with the Magician. And so there might be behaviors, there might be belief systems, there might be things that you have to release that don't align with like the higher version of yourself, right? And so pretty deep stuff here, Virgo. But I think you are changing on a very deep level with that Four of Pentacles. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Page of Pentacles. Yes, Page of Pentacles is a card of studiousness. Remember what I said about the egg hatching. It's like, imagine if you're a brand new baby. It's like babies have a lot to learn. And so I'm not saying that you are a baby, but I am saying that it's almost like you are being reborn and there are going to be a lot of things that you have to learn. And I feel that you are going to be undergoing this process now. And it should be exciting. Like you should look at it as excitement, not something that's like scary or, not something that's going to be bad, but just a growth process that you are going through. And again, I think that you are putting yourself out there in a bigger way. So you're going to be getting bigger results based off this work that you're doing. Next, in your present position, you have this Chimera. It says, imagination clouds your judgment. You have this air card. It says, seek a union of mind and spirit. Yes, it's like trust but verify is what's popping into my head here. I think that, again, that Neptune and Pisces in your opposite sign, Pisces, it can bring up these kind of big dreams or these imaginations. And you are having to say, like, I don't think this is saying your ideas are bad or anything, but I think it's saying that your ideas need to come down to earth, that seek union of mind and spirit. You have to take the dream and bring it down to earth. You have to make it happen in the 3D. And that's what these two cards are talking about. Also in the present position, you have the Queen of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Nine of Wands. The Queen of Cups, the theme of this reading is protection, so you need to protect your heart at this time, and I think you need to protect your heart from any mistake that has hurt your heart in the past. If we go in this direction, we have the Nine of Swords, and so the Nine of Swords is a never-ending nightmare, but the Nine of Swords is pretty easy to solve. We just have to get out of things that cause us pain. The whole point of the Nine of Swords is that he's in pain, but he's not in enough pain to make a change. I always say that there's like a graph in life. We see this a lot with people who become successful. They become successful. They have a set point right here, right? They go above the set point in their life and they always come back down, right? To meet that level. So for example, they did a study years ago where it's like they took people who were making like $50,000 a year and then they started making more, like $100,000 a year. And so what happened? Those people did things that basically brought their income down to $50,000 a year. Even though they were still making $100,000, it's like maybe they purchased something that they put on credit so that they had to pay all the money they were making went to paying off their credit card, right? They brought themselves down to their comfort zone. And I kind of feel like that could be the pain that you are avoiding, is like you are kind of creating a new level for yourself by following your heart. And that's exactly what I would do with that card. You have the Wheel of Fortune, which is changing your fortunes. I have noticed that recently, over the past month or so, the Wheel of Fortune has been coming up a lot more for people. And I kind of do feel we are in a time where we can all really change our fortunes, like make our lives a lot better. The thing with the Wheel of Fortune is that we have to double down on the good stuff and take care of the challenges in our lives right away. And so I do feel this is encouraging you to make sure that you take care of things right away and you don't let things kind of get worse with the challenges. But also the good stuff, you want to double down on the good stuff just as quickly with this card so you can make more good things happen, and that's what I would do there. You have the Nine of Wands. I feel like this is about more trying. The problem we have Pluto in Aquarius, which is innovation. But the problem with innovation is that you have to try a lot of stuff. This is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So I think it would be an amazing time to experiment. I think it would be an amazing time to, try new things in all areas of your life. Also, the theme of the reading is protection. The Nine of Wands is a card of putting up boundaries. So protecting yourself and having appropriate boundaries with people in your life will be a really good idea. I also have the word responsibility popping into my head. Really, honestly, it sucks being responsible, right? It's being responsible means sometimes you have to say no to things that you want to say yes to, right? And, again, I think having the strength, right, to be responsible, going up to that strength card is something that you could work on that would probably lead to some improvements. Yeah, with the Queen of Cups, you have the Six of Wands. We definitely see the potential for you taking up more space. The Six of Wands is a card of recognition, achievement. He's receiving recognition for the work that he has done in his life. So there could be a lot more recognition or achievements coming in for you at this time. I do think you are trying to stand out, Virgo. I think that's a theme that you have been working on for a while, is that you're trying to get more attention or you're trying to stand out in life in some way. And I do feel that you could be having some bigger achievements, but I also think your achievements are going to be coming from following your heart. And that's what I would do with that card. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands is about committing to the new life. Four of Wands is a card of marriage, but I wouldn't really say this is a love reading, although, love is always available to us. But I think this reading is more talking about you committing to a new level. And to commit to that new level, you have to adopt new habits. Like I said, you obviously, if you want to make more money, then spending all your money is probably a bad idea. And, people who make a lot of money are responsible with their money. So learning financial responsibility could be something that you're committing to, but it could be anything. I think you're just committing to freedom. These people, the Four of Wands is a card of freedom. This right here is like a finish line, but I always say we have to cross that finish line to set ourselves free, and that's what you could be doing here. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is about resourcefulness. It's funny that I just said that you have to commit to financial responsibility, because the Queen of Pentacles is kind of the card of financial responsibility. She is focusing on this pentacle, not this rabbit right here. The rabbit can represent fertility and abundance, but it can also represent fears and anxiety, right? But she's focusing on what she can do. She's not focusing on her fears and anxiety about finances or about money or about those, other things that she might be worrying about. The other thing is that the rabbit can represent multiplication. And I think that multiplication should be a keyword for you. I think in work, business, money, love, pretty much everything we do, there are certain activities that we are naturally good at. And if we focused on those things, we would get a multiple of a result. And so I feel like this is saying that you need to focus on multiplication. You need to focus on the activities, the 80-20, the 20% that gets you 80% of the result, right? It's that. That's why I hire people, right? I have employees because I am good at one thing, videos and talking, running my freaking mouth. I'm a Gemini moon, right? So running my mouth is what I'm good at. All the other stuff I let other people do because I'm just a waste of my time, right? And so I feel like the Queen of Pentacles is saying, how can you create a life where you focus more on the stuff that creates multiplication? Next, in the future position, you have this owl spirit. It says, you see clearly now. You also have this ant spirit. It says, time to collaborate. I just said that. Definitely could be time to get employees if you have a business. It might be time to, find people who can help you. Even if you can't hire employees in your life, it's you might be able to find an accountability partner. You might be able to find a person who you just bounce ideas off of, or a friend that supports you. And I think all of that will be very important. It's also funny that I said multiplication, because ants can lift many times their body weight, right? And again, I think there are things that you can do, skills that you have with that Queen of Pentacles, where the result you get is more than what other people get. And those are the activities I would focus on. Where can you lift more weight? Where can you get a better result? And I think you see clearly what that is with that owl spirit as well. You have the Five of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords, and the Page of Wands. It's like trauma is popping into my head. This is your future position, this row. But I feel like there are things that happened to you in the past that made you feel weak, right? And it could be anything. And I would spend some time like healing those things, whatever they are, because I think that it's like, I don't really have a good example for you, Virgo, but it's like when we're, I think like when we're like 2 years old, right? Like a lot of stuff happens when we are around the age of 2 that shapes who we are. And it's like if someone yelled at you for something when you were 2 years old, and it's like now as an adult you're trying to do something, your 2-year-old self might still be controlling you because you might not say this, but maybe on the inside what your 2-year-old self is thinking is like, I'm going to get yelled at if I do this thing. But you're not 2 years old anymore. And that's kind of what's popping into my head with this Five of Pentacles, is that you are protected, right? You have that protection card. You have nothing to worry about. You're not 2 anymore. And the Five of Pentacles is my card of not calling attention to your weaknesses. You need to double down on your strengths with this card. Next, you have the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is a never-ending nightmare. But again, Nine of Swords is a situation where you're in pain, but you're not in enough pain to make a change. And so the Nine of Swords says, don't let that happen. Sometimes I think the Nine of Swords is really saying, don't rest on your laurels. Like, again, if you're going up, keep doing things to maintain upward momentum. Don't do things that kind of sabotage your success. And really that's like the message I'm getting off of this card for the most part. The other thing I'm getting here is that you need to not doubt yourself, because this blanket is a comfort blanket, and these blue squares have all these astrological symbols inside of them. And the astrological symbols basically represent the astrology that this person has lived through. So the blanket is meant to tell him like, hey, you've been through a lot in life. You have a lot of skills and lessons that you learned. You can easily change your situation. That's what that blanket says, because of what you know. And so I feel you need to give yourself more credit. You have the Page of Wands. Yeah, like this is about giving things chances is what's popping into my head. Like Page of Wands, he just does things because he thinks he might enjoy it. Like he, will go on an adventure, or he will start something new in his life because he is following his enthusiasm. And he isn't attaching an outcome to whatever he's doing. Now, the Nine of Swords would be thinking like, I can't do that because something bad will happen. But the Page of Wands is saying like, no, you need to try new things at this time or in the near future with the Page of Wands, and just see how they go and don't attach an outcome. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Wands, which you have twice right here. Knight of Wands is, again, also going on an adventure, kind of like stepping off into the unknown. The Knight of Wands, he does things that he doesn't really know, and he also goes on adventures. Another repeating card, with the Nine of Swords, you have the High Priestess. You have the High Priestess twice, and the High Priestess, she has no roof over her head. This kind of represents unlimited potential, so the only thing that is limiting her is her. And she needs to realize that she can easily get out of a limiting situation by setting herself free. And also, she needs to understand that there are no limits to what she wants to accomplish. So I kind of feel the High Priestess, again, is saying that you need to believe in yourself more at this time, Virgo. With the Page of Wands, you have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, Queen of Cups twice in your reading as well. How crazy is it that this row has all repeating cards as the clarifying cards, because you have the Queen of Cups right here. So the Queen of Cups, again, is about following your heart. It's like your heart is trying to tell you to do something, and you need to listen. With the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups, this could also be you being intuitively guided. Again, your first card was that Dream Catcher card. It said, pay attention to signs, messages, and guidance that come to you at night. And so you definitely could be getting very intuitive messages, like in your dreams and your daydreams. I find that like right when I'm waking up in the morning, I get those intuitive hits. So, again, right when you wake up in the morning could also be what you need to pay attention to. Next, in the area of your outcome, you have this support card and this patience card. Yeah, I feel like you are finding better support, or you need to. We were kind of talking about that a minute ago, about needing to find those people who really lift you up. I think you have been patient for a long time. You also have the Strength card in your outcome position. The Strength card is a card of patience, but she is controlling her inner voice, which is probably the number one thing that Virgo needs to take control of at this time is like the words that you say about yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you speak about yourself, all that stuff is what I would be taking control of with this energy, because, I think your inner voice is going to be very important, or like controlling your inner voice is going to be very important for you with this card. The strength card is also a display of strength. She is putting her strength on display. Like, people are watching her stick her hands in this lion's mouth and taking control. So a lot of you are like definitely taking more responsibility. Next, you have the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is like being adventurous. I think this is about you being more spontaneous. Just willing to try new things, not needing things to be perfect for you to get started. All that other stuff is kind of popping into my head with the Knight of Wands. So I think like the more adventurous you can be, the better. And the Knight of Wands is about being a builder. The Knight of Wands, he kind of is like the true builder in the tarot. If he doesn't know how to do something, he builds it, or he builds a solution to anything that enters into his life. So I think doing that would be good. You have the High Priestess. Yeah, definitely time to trust your intuition. I think you need to dig deeper on things. She needs to peek behind that curtain that is hanging behind her. She can't just like skim the surface, kind of like the Star card. Usually I say on the Star card that she's just dipping her toe in the water, but she needs to go all the way in. And I'm kind of getting that feeling here on the High Priestess. I feel like she's saying, anything you're interested in, anything you want to do with your life, you need to explore it deeply and really kind of get into it and see what you can learn. And if you do that, I think you will be very successful. With the Strength card, you have the Three of Wands. Yes, taking up space with your strength. We said at the beginning of the reading that it's time for you to take up space and expand. It's also time for you to probably go on an adventure. He has these boats on the ocean here, and those boats are pointing out of the harbor. They are going somewhere where he has no clue where they're going. They're just pointing in a different direction, and he needs to move in that new direction to find success. So I feel for a lot of you that you could be going, kind of moving in a direction that where you don't know all the details, or, like I said, it's almost like you're a baby that's you're like hatching out of an egg and you are being reborn at this time. What a visual there, Virgo. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is total fulfillment, wish fulfillment as well. So there could be some sort of wish being fulfilled for you. Now, the thing about the Nine of Cups is that he is in perfect alignment with what he wants. And so with the Magician, the same thing. It's like you can't be talking about wanting money, but also talking about how you don't have money, right? You have to talk as if you do have money. You also have to adopt the habits, the behaviors, all the good stuff around that to be able to get what you want. And the Nine of Cups, it's a card of wish fulfillment, so you could be having a wish fulfilled here, but, again, you have to act as if you are the thing that you want to be. And that seems to be very important in this reading. With the High Priestess, you have the Sun. Amazing, best card in the deck. The Sun shines a light on things that you need to pay attention to. So I would be paying attention to your attention here with that card, Virgo. I would also say that, I think that a lot of you could just be getting attention at this time. And so I would be standing out as much as you possibly can. You have this Bold card. It says plenty of material things. Yeah, it looks pretty good money-wise. Like, I think you're getting smarter with your money. I feel that a lot of you could be using your skills in a different way, taking up more space, multiplying, right? All those things were popping up in the reading. And so I feel all of that could be increasing your finances. You have this Eye card. It says psychic ability, trust your intuition. Yes, you have a million cards in this reading that basically say that you need to trust your intuition at this time. Again, I think paying attention to the signs as well, like any repeating numbers, any sign, symbol, synchronicities that you're getting also would be important for you to pay attention to. You have two cards. You have this Cat card. It says a two-faced friend. You have this Ladder. It says climbing towards success. I think we have talked about this with you, Virgo, in the recent past. I think you need to keep climbing and don't listen too much to what other people are saying. I don't really feel like people are being two-faced, but I just feel like some people could be trying to keep you at your level. I mean, it's funny that you have the ladder because this whole time we've been talking about you getting to the next level, like creating a new set point. It's like if your set point is down here, you're leveling up and creating a new standard for yourself or for your life. And, I feel like this is saying avoid people who are keeping you small. You have this April card and you have this apple. It says temptation will test you. There could have been some sort of temptation in the month of April. I almost feel like you passed a test here, Virgo. So yeah, I really don't have much to add to that because I feel like you already passed that test. You have this October card and you also have this seahorse. It says family matters. So some of you could be doing things with family in the month of October, or you could be setting things up with family in the month of October. And I think all that would be good for you with this energy for sure. But this looks pretty good here, Virgo. I like it. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your month.